Good morning, everyone. How's your heart today? How's that beautiful, wonderful, dynamic heart of yours? I hope it's well. It's been a while since I made a video. There's a lot going on right now, and drinking my morning cup of joe, right? Put in some rose water. Rose, of all the flowers, have the highest vibration. And oftentimes when I'm drinking my coffee, I'm able to connect to the divine. I'm not sure why coffee does that to me, but I'm so grateful it does. And I started to get that familiar feeling of inspiration. And I started to get this message. And I just wanted to grab the camera and share it with you. And as I share it with you, I'll be downloading as well, because information just keeps coming through. And the interesting thing about this particular message, or this particular giving, I guess you can say, I don't know what you want to call it, may actually turn people off. And I might lose followers, and that's okay. I'm okay with that, because I'm about truth, and I'm a truth seeker, and I'm a truth teller. So I just want to share with you the message that my cosmic family is sharing with me, what I'm getting from the divine, and I'm going to give it to you, and you do with it whatever it is that you want to do, because I'm not here to tell you what to do. What I am here to do is just to give you information so that you can be in your own sovereignty, your own power to make your own choices and decisions and choose your own reality, right? Because we have so many different storylines and timelines to choose, right? And every choice we make takes us on a certain path that can always be changed and edited like a movie. So that's the good news, right? So we're never ever set in one particular direction. But I wanted to share with you what was happening. And the theme is about unity. And the theme is about acceptance of all. And when I'm sharing this information, I know a lot of you may not be in the United States watching this, but it is part of a lot of what I'm going to say it has to do with the United States. So again, whatever information resonates with you is what you should be taking. If it doesn't resonate with you, do not take that information, just like when I give readings, right? So let's talk a little bit about unity, because what they're saying is we're in a place in time in history, in the evolution of Mama Earth, where she's going through an upgrade and an evolution, and her energy affects our energy. And we know this through the Schumann resonance, right? Which we can look at as Mama Earth's heartbeat. That's the easiest way to kind of grasp an easy understanding. It's the energy, the amount of light and energy that comes into planet Earth, which does affect everything about Earth, right? And so since we live on her, it affects us. Also solar flares. So, and all of the planets, right? As we know through astrology. So energy influences energy. Energy affects energy. And there's a huge upgrade going on right now. So of course it affects us. And we are energy, and we are mostly made of water. So of course this is going to affect us, yes? And there are thought forms. Let's just call them thought forms. Maybe that's just the best way to sort of explain this. There are thought forms out there that are trying to divide the human race. Yes, there are races in between the human race, but we're all just really one. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. Doesn't matter where you come from. The only thing that really matters is that we're all one, we're all humans, we're all wearing this earth suit, right? What really should matter more is the character traits of the human, not the color of their skin, not their sexual identity or gender, none of that stuff, yes? It should be the character of the human being, of the earth suit wearer. But there are forces out there that are trying to, on purpose, sorry, table, just smack the table, on purpose trying to separate so that we are divided instead of united, right? We live in the United States of America, those of us who live here in the US, not the divided states of America, yes? So there's a huge divide happening, and it's to purposely, again, I'm using this word purposely separate people so that there's a feeling of weakness, defeat, and fear. And those are the frequencies that is really the most prominent and the strongest that's happening right now. And we're seeing it play out on the political stage because it's the biggest platform, but it's actually stemming from the media, which is an even bigger platform, right? So many people see what's happening on the media as the truth when, if you notice, you have conversations with your friends, they're not actually agreeing, and I don't want to say compliance or complying, but they're not necessarily going with what the media is actually saying. Isn't that interesting? I noticed that happening in my social circle as well. So the forces that be, these negative thought forms, negative entities, whatever you want to call it, they're purposely trying to divide, and it is through politics, because it's gotten so bad here in the States that it's not even anymore about whether you're Republican or whether you're Democrat, right? It's about, I'm going to scare you so much and cause you so much fear that you can't make decisions on your own. So therefore, you're going to need me to help you make a decision. And in that decision, I'm going to provide you with everything that you need so that I have control over you. That's the power play that's going on. And in order to have that power, there has to be disunity, division, right? That's not reality. That's not truth. That's a storyline. That's a timeline. And there is such a thing called the collective. And the collective is a group of people, more than one person, right? So let's say that there's a collective energy here in the United States. That collective energy is buying into a particular storyline or timeline that is actually dividing people instead of bringing people together. Now remember, we're all the human race, and I know that some people do not like that because people will divide by race, by religion, by gender, by sexual preference. That's all bullshit. It's not real. That's not real. What's real is unity. What's real is the power of the people, right? And a lot of times, most of the times right now, there's such a great narrative out there that the government is so important. But the government, or the powers in the government that be, are not quite abiding by that whole, I don't know, of the people, by the people, for the people statement, you know? And they're scaring the people into certain directions or into certain choices, into certain avenues. So unless the people which is the collective of a bunch of individuals, understand and know and wake up to the truth of what's happening, which is divisiveness, they can't change that collective energy of fear. So it has to be a group effort. You guys, it has to be a group effort. And so the message that I'm getting from Source is that what's happening is just not real because it's dividing. And that's not what we're about. And when I say we, I'm talking the human race. Listen, out here in schools, parents are being called domestic terrorists because they're standing up for curriculums that they feel are just not right for their children. This is what the United States was built on, freedom. It was built on the freedom to have whatever religion you want, the freedom to protect yourself, the freedom to say what you want. And it's not happening anymore. Or I shouldn't say it's not happening anymore. There are forces, entities, whatever you want to call them, thought forms, that are trying to take that away. But every soul that incarnates into a human being is born with freedom and sovereignty that, because of their environment, often isn't granted to them. So, you know, yes, sometimes you're born into like a third world country, and no, you can't have that freedom. And yes, you're in so much poverty, you're starving. From a spiritual perspective, the soul actually chose that as an experience to have. It gets complicated, but there are soul contracts, right? But I want to stick to the message that I'm downloading, which is about unity and divisiveness, right? And so the fact that someone or someones, in this case, it's the collective, for example, of the US, they're trying to divide us enough so that we get scared and rely and depend on the government, which again is a force, right? So it's interesting as a truth seeker, and if you're a truth seeker, it's easy to really look at what's happening and just see the mixed messaging that's happening, or the kind of like authority that's being put on, where it's like, all you have to do this, but I don't have to. You know, a lot of us are like, that's bullshit. So many of us are waking up, which is wonderful, right? And when you wake up and understand that you have your sovereignty and freedom to make your own choices, then you are in your power. But by being afraid and by giving into or paying attention, remember, wherever you place your attention, that's where your energy is going to go. So when you're placing your attention, you are buying into something. And when you're doing that, for example, into the government, or like you're allowing them to make choices and decisions for you, that's giving your power away. And that is part of the divisive process that's happening. So my suggestion to each and every one of you who is watching this is to become a truth sleuth. A truth sleuth. I love it. Thanks, guys. A truth sleuth. Do some research. Go out there. Look for the mixed messages. What kind of BS are you being fed? Right? Where are you feeling out of alignment? Like something isn't right when something or someone is telling you you have to do something a certain way. That's not freedom. That's not sovereignty. And you can see this happening, you know, with the breakdown of the financial system, the education system, the government, all of that. So good news, bad news in this unity / division what's going on, right? So there's growing pains, and that's what's happening, yes? With every breakdown, there's a breakthrough. So there will be a rebuild. There will be, you know, new ways of doing things. But we have to wake up and look at the truth and see what is happening in order for that to happen. And there has to be a big enough collective energy that buys into the truth instead of lies. It's all energy, it's all frequency, and it is that simple. But right now, the powers that be, these forces, whatever, understand how energy works. They also understand that when they broadcast lower frequencies, those who are not truth seekers in that now moment are apt to believe whatever they're being told. So it's up to us to get into the frequencies of curiosity and maybe adventure, strength and courage, and sovereignty and freedom in order for us to really have that truth revealed to us. If you want to make it maybe more digestible, you can say this could be a war on good and evil. You know, and the way the ego works, let's just say the ego is, you know, more evil. I say that just so you can understand. I'm not saying it is evil. And then the heart, which is more the soul, this is a war between head and heart. This is a war between truth and lies. This is a war between you know, physical and non-physical. I mean, we live in polarity. So of course there's going to be opposites, right? Cause and effect. That's a very old school way of creating reality. It's the Newtonian physics way of doing things. But the thing is like we forget that we have the power within us, the freedom and the sovereignty to make different choices, to speak out, to share truths. And it is up to each individual person to figure out what the truth is and what is their truth and to live out their truth, because we do live in a world or a dimension where there's polarity, right? But it's also, if we can get into a certain consciousness, then we can make choices where we see all possibilities are possible. Like there's opportunity for everything. But if we're being told, right, we can't do this and you have to do this, then there's not that option for us to make a choice, and therefore we give our power away. So there's a lot of us out there that are waking up and choosing to be in the frequency of sovereignty and truth and freedom, and can see through a lot of stupid stuff. Like really, you know, it's like, really, you're gonna tell me that? Really? I'm not that dumb, right? Really? But these entities, these forces really think that we're dumb. So, you know, again, that's all a choice. Are you gonna buy into, are you gonna place your awareness on something or not? Now, I personally rarely watch the news. Rarely. Maybe in my Instagram feed, if I've got some time, I'll look at some stuff and something will come up and I look at that and I'm like, oh, it's just dumb. Like they really think we're this dumb. But, you know, some people buy into it, right? It's divisive. It's not about unity. We are the human race. We have power, individual power. We have more power than we think, at least here in the United States. We are blessed to live in an amazing country here in the United States where we have freedom to say what it is that we want to say. That's changing. We have freedom to protect ourselves and the rights to bear arms. That's changing. We have the freedom to choose to buy from different places at different prices and all that stuff. That's changing, right? So you have to become aware of where your energy is and what are you paying attention to, because that is going to be the storyline and the timeline that you're going to be participating in. So there's several narratives out there. Narratives are stories. They may not be truths. They may not be realities. So when we start getting these narratives of there's not enough food or there's not enough of this, guess what that does? That activates scarcity and a poverty consciousness. And then that's the timeline, for example, that you could be jumping into, and then that's the life you're going to create for yourself. That's why I'm talking about truth seeking. Get out there, look at the truth, read, talk to people. Don't just listen to what the media is saying. You are a powerful and sovereign soul. You came here to take on an earth suit to experience human life and to remember who you are. And so through this period that Mother Earth is going in, it's called the ascension, people are waking up. We're even having physical symptoms from the amount of stress that is going on. And there is a lot of stress going on. And many of us are sensitive to energy. So we're not only picking up and dealing with our own stress, right? We're dealing with the stress Mother Earth is going under, and also the stress of the people and the collective around us. So our physical bodies are taking a toll too. So during this really, really hard time, your best bet on how to survive this transition from the old world to the new world, because it's happening whether you like it or not. First of all, you have to accept, which I am still accepting, that things are not going to be the way they used to be. Literally, 2019 is considered the good old days. Yeah. So we have to accept where we are in the now moment so that we can collapse all those timelines and just be really present so that we can make new choices for our future. And we have to seek out what the truth really is for us and stand in it. Got to stand in our truth. And that might mean losing friends. It might mean losing family. It might mean, I hate the fact that people have to lose their jobs for making certain choices. Like, that's a whole other thing. I won't go into that. But that's an example of not having that sovereignty and freedom for you to make a choice, right? When there's threats. Because again, capitalizing on the frequencies of fear and defeat, right? But you are here to take a stand for yourself. You chose this. You may not believe that you did, and that's okay. It's not something we remember easily when we take on an earth suit. But you came here to experience this, to be a truth seeker. You came here to help elevate and uplift other people. That's why you came here. You came here to be of service to other people. So you do that by being a truth teller. You do that by being an uplifter. You do that by being a wayshower. And that's what we're here to do, right? That is what brings us together in unity. Okay, so that's the message. That is the message for this time period right now, right? I got this message. I needed to share it with you guys. I know some of you don't like to hear it, and that's okay. And if I lose you guys as followers, as subscribers, as viewers, whatever, on any of my social media platforms, that's okay. But I'm here to tell the truth. I'm here to speak the truth, and that is that you have more power than you think you do. And that by living in fear, making choices that somebody else is telling you what to do is not why you're here. You're here to choose what's best for you. You're here to connect with your own essence, your own authority. Nobody's the boss of you. And you're here to help other people. You're here to learn the truth. And that's what you're here for. All right, you guys. So if you're still sticking around, hello. There's evolution everywhere. Don't be afraid to evolve and do what's best for you. Don't be afraid. Just don't, it's not even don't be afraid. Don't pay attention. Don't give your focus to storylines and narratives that just don't fit you, even if it means you're like the black sheep of the family, because there's several situations and scenarios in my family that I just do not get along with, and I'm like, I don't buy into that. Sorry guys, no, you can do that if you want, by all means, you do you, boo, but I can't do that. So it is with great honor and humility that I have the freedom to actually make this video for you, and I'm really grateful. But it's time we just start living our truths, guys. We got to live our truths and not be dictated other truths. And with every breakdown, there's a breakthrough. So we're going to get through this. It's going to be okay. There's a other side of the tunnel, or the light at the end of the tunnel, other side of the bridge. There's a pot of gold. The more you're true to yourself, the more you stand up to yourself, the more abundant you're actually going to be. Totally counterintuitive to the narrative that they're telling us, right? So hang in there. If you want to work out with me one-on-one, and I can help you get into your truth and just clear that anxiety so that you get into alignment, right? So you're going to clear the anxiety of the past, right? Align to the future. Align to the present, because we got to collapse timelines first. Get into the present and then create a future that's different than the storyline that they're teaching us or they're telling us. We don't have to buy into that, but we got to clear out a lot of stuff first. Clear the schmutz out, right? Align with the present and create the future. So if that's something that you want to do and you want to work with me one-on-one, check out my site, TerrieHuberman.com. I've got some really great stuff coming ahead for you guys. I'm really excited. I'm starting to create digital courses and books and all the things. Like, there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on, and I am not exempt like one bit from any of this. So we're all growing together. Let's stay connected, right? So stay connected to yourself, stay connected to your friends and family, stay connected to me, and I'll see ya on the flip side.